Look, let's be honest with each other. You've been walking around in your own body for quite some time now, and you still don't know the basic operating instructions for your own internal juice. Today, I'll explain the different blood types to you like you're 5 years old. And by the time we're done here, you'll finally understand why some people brag about being universal donors, and you'll know exactly what that little plus or minus sign means on a blood bag. And no, it's not a battery rating. So, first things first, let's get one thing straight. Your blood is not just some red liquid sloshing around in your body like soup in a bowl. It's a super busy highway system, full of workers doing very important jobs. The most famous of these workers are your red blood cells. Think of them as a massive fleet of microscopic delivery trucks. Their main job is to pick up oxygen from your lungs and deliver it to every single part of your body, from your brain all the way down to your big toe. Oxygen is like tiny pizza deliveries for your cells. If a part of your body doesn't get its pizza, then it gets very angry and stops working. So these little red delivery trucks are incredibly important. I mean, they're the reason you're alive and not just a very complicated puddle. But here's the big secret. I mean, the whole reason we're having this conversation. Not all delivery trucks are the same. This is where blood types come from. The entire system of A, B, and O is basically just a security system for your body's highway. Each one of your little red blood cell trucks has special things stuck to the outside of it. For our 5-year-old lesson today, we're gonna call these things name tags. And these name tags tell your body which trucks belong to your fleet and which ones are dangerous intruders. Now, floating around in the liquid part of your blood, which is called plasma, are your body's security guards. We'll call them bodyguards. And these bodyguards are like tiny, grumpy bouncers at a nightclub. Their entire job is to float around, check IDs, and look for trouble. I mean, they're programmed to find any delivery truck with the wrong name tag and immediately start a fight. It's a very simple but very serious system. So if your truck has a certain name tag, then your bodyguards are trained to attack any truck that has a different name tag. And this prevents invaders from using your highway. So let's start with the first club, Type A. If you have Type A blood, every single one of your red blood cell trucks is wearing a name tag that says A. Your body sees these A name tags all day, every day, and thinks, yep, that's one of ours, let it pass. Because your body is so familiar and comfortable with A name tags, it becomes extremely suspicious of any other kind of name tag. Specifically, it despises the B name tag. So the bodyguards floating in your blood are trained to attack any cell wearing a B name tag on sight. We'll call these anti-B bodyguards. So, to summarize for the people in the back, Type A blood has red cells with A name tags and has anti-B bodyguards. Your body is basically the A-team club, and there's a giant sign on the door that says no Bs allowed. Now, you're a smart cookie, so you've probably guessed what's coming next. Let's talk about Type B. If you've got Type B blood, all your little red delivery trucks are wearing B name tags, and your body recognizes these B tags as friendly. So, what kind of bodyguards does it make? That's right. It makes anti-A bodyguards. Your body is the Beehive Club, and its bouncers will immediately tackle and throw out any cell that dares to show up wearing an A name tag. So, Type B blood has red cells with B name tags and has anti-A bodyguards. You can kind of see how Type A and Type B are basically rival high schools. They really don't mix, and they definitely do not get along. So, what actually happens if a doctor makes a huge mistake and gives a Type A person a bag of Type B blood? Well, remember the Type A person's blood is full of those grumpy anti-B bodyguards just waiting for a reason to start a fight? Well, the moment those new red cells with B name tags enter the bloodstream, alarms go off everywhere. The anti-B bodyguards swarm the new cells, causing them to stick together in big, useless clumps. And this is called agglutination, which is a fancy word for a catastrophic traffic pileup inside your veins. These clumps block the tiny roads in your body. The cells burst, and it can cause a massive, life-threatening emergency. And this is why knowing blood types is not just a fun fact. It's a critical piece of safety information, and hospitals are incredibly strict about it. Okay, let's move on to the cool kid on the block, the one who gets along with everyone. This is Type AB. If you have Type AB blood, your red blood cells are extra fancy. They wear both A name tags and B name tags at the same time. They are members of both the A club and the B club. So, let's think about their bodyguards for a second. If their body made anti-A bodyguards, what would happen? Well, they would attack their own cells, which would be a very silly and short-lived situation. And if they made anti-B bodyguards, well, they would still be attacking their own cells. So the body of a Type AB person makes no bodyguards, no anti-A, no anti-B. Their blood is like a giant friendly party with no bouncers at the door. Everyone's welcome. And this is why we call people with Type AB blood universal recipients. If you give them type A blood, their body looks at the A name tags and says, come on in, we have those too. And if you give them type B blood, well, their body still looks at the B name tags and says, come on in, friend, we know you. They can receive blood from type A, type B, and as we'll see here in a moment, type O people as well. They're the most accepting and least picky of all the blood types. Now, for the hero of our story, the most common blood type, type O. People with type O blood have red blood cells that are plain. They have no name tags, no A tags, no B tags. Their little delivery trucks are completely naked. Because their own cells are so plain, their body is extremely suspicious of any cell that has any name tag. They see these foreign name tags as invaders. So a person with type O blood has both anti-A and anti-B bodyguards floating around. Their blood is like a super exclusive secret club that will attack anyone with A tag or B tags. This means if you have type O blood, you can only receive type O blood from someone else. But think about what happens when a type O person donates blood. Because their red blood cells have no name tags, they're essentially invisible to other people's security systems. They can sneak into almost anyone's body without setting off any alarms. If you give type O blood to a type A person, their anti-B bodyguards have nothing to attack. And if you give it to a type B person, well, their anti-A bodyguards look right past the plain cells. And if you give it to an AB person, they don't have bodyguards anyway. And this is why type O is called the universal donor. Its plain, tagless cells are the ultimate stealth delivery trucks. Congrats, you're doing great. I mean, you've mastered all the letters. But what about that little plus or minus sign that you always see? Well, that's for something called the RH factor. It's just another name tag, completely separate from the A and B tags. For our purpose here, we're going to call the RH factor a special sparky hat. You either have the sparkly hat, or you don't. It's really that simple. If your red blood cells have the extra RH name tag on them, you are RH positive, and we show this with a plus sign, like an A plus or an O plus. Most people in the world are RH positive. They have the hat, and if your red blood cells don't have the sparkly hat, then you're RH negative, and we show this with a minus sign, as in B minus or a B minus. They're hatless. Here is the only tricky part. A person whose cells wear the hat, an RH positive person, doesn't care about cells without a hat. But a person who's RH negative, whose cells don't wear the hat, will see the hat as a foreign object. Their body will learn to attack it. Unlike the A and B systems, this reaction is not immediate. If a person with A negative blood gets a transfusion of A positive blood for the first time, their body will notice the sparkly hat on the new cells and think, hold on, what is that? I should prepare for this. Now, it won't cause a huge problem that first time, but it will start building a brand new army of anti-hat bodyguards. Then, if that person ever gets positive blood a second time, that new army of bodyguards will be ready and will launch a massive attack on the hat-wearing cells. This is also extremely important in pregnancy, but thankfully modern medicine has a very simple solution to prevent any problems for mothers and babies. So, now you can see the entire picture. I mean, you can figure out who the true heroes of blood donation are. Who's the real, ultimate, universal donor? It has to be someone whose blood can go to anyone. This means they can't have an A name tag, they can't have a B name tag, and they definitely can't have the sparkly hat. This hero is the O negative blood type. O negative blood is the ultimate ghost blood. It has no identifying mark, so it can sneak into any person's body and their local bodyguards will just let it pass. This is why in movies when there's a huge emergency, you hear the doctors yelling for O negative. They can give it to anyone without even checking their blood type first. And who's the ultimate universal recipient? Well, it's the person who can take blood from anyone. They need to be cool with A tags, B tags, and the sparkly hat. And this is the AB positive blood type. Their body has all the name tags, so it considers all other tags friendly. And it has the hat, so it's not bothered by other cells wearing the hat. They're the most chill, least picky blood type on the planet. So, there you have it. Blood types are just about what name tags your red blood cells wear and what kind of grumpy bodyguards are floating around in your veins looking for a fight. Some have A tags, some have B tags, some have both, and some are plain. And then there are those wearing that special little hat, while others aren't. And that is pretty much the entire secret. I mean, you get it now. You're no longer clueless about the very stuff that is keeping you upright and breathing. So go on. You're smarter now. Try not to let it go to your head.